Hello, you guys. Um, Welcome back again. And first thing I want to say is that thank you guys that made me feel comfortable about me coming out of my disability yesterday, and that didn't make me feel too bad about posting that video. I mean, I didn't want to deleted it. I was like, you know what? I don't care. And I want to tell you guys another, like, not a confession video, but a story, a most important story that I want to give it to you guys, and I hope it brings a lot of inspiration to your day. So, 8 years ago, I broke my hip. I broke my right hip, and I had to get surgery. So, I was 12 years old. So, I'm gonna tell you guys the story of how I broke it, and how I went to the hospital, and what is my hospital experience like, and the surgery experience like, and how I recovered afterwards. Because the recovery is the hardest part of, like, my injury. So, let me drink this. So 8 years ago, 2012. Ironically, when I broke my hip, this happened on September 11th, 2012, and on 9/11. I remember this day because I was in class before I went to an after school program, and we talked about was 9/11, and it was 9/11 day, and I was like, oh, all right, I feel so bad about whatever happened, and all that stuff, blah 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 blah. And end of the day comes around, and I got a lot of homework to do, all 9/11 homework related type stuff, on research projects, and I'm like, oh, I got all this to do. And I go to the after school program after school, right? And I'm gonna just skip the whole story all the way until, like, once we went outside to the field, because it's kind of boring when I explain what happened, like, before it happened. So we're in the field, right? And we're playing a lot of games, like, it was a time when it was still warm outside. Mind you, it was September, still warm outside, and we're outside in this big field, right? And, well, it wasn't a field. It was a court. You know what I mean? It was back at 266. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So we go to this field, and we started playing these games, right? And the game that we finally decided to play was, at first we played football, then we played soccer, then after a while we decided to play this game where one person would have to run from this side of the field all the way to the other side, and whoever does it the fastest wins. And whatchamacallit, everybody went. I'm like the second kid to go last, and when it's finally time for me to go, I'm like this, right? Hold on. They're like, on your mark, get set, go, and I was like, 1, 2, and then something fell, like, slipped my foot enough for me to go backwards, like, oh, and then I fell. My leg twisted up in the air, and I don't know what happened. Like, I had my eyes closed half of the time because I'm like, I don't want to die, I don't want my face to get crushed, and I fell to my back of the ground, and I'm in pain. Like, I never felt this pain in my life. Like, I was like, ow, 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 and everybody huddled around. I can't walk, I can't move, I can't get up. So I'm feeling paralyzed for a good, like, 5 minutes because, I can't feel my whole right leg. And a lot of people thought, oh, you pulled a muscle. But if I pulled a muscle, I would be able to, like, get up and at least walk. But I couldn't walk at all, I couldn't walk at all. And it was so painful to even, like, sit up, And I didn't, like, mind you, I didn't know my hip was broken yet. So I'm still thinking in my mind, like, oh, I probably pulled a muscle. I probably, like, really pulled a muscle enough for, like, it to infect or something like that. And I didn't go to the doctor until the next day because my parents were like, okay, if you don't feel better until the next day, we'll go to the doctor. And I wake up the next day, it's still not better at all. I'm still in pain. I'm very in pain, and we tried putting me into a hot bath right before I went to the doctor, and my whole leg was like boiling. Like it looked like it was boiling. Like whatchamacallit, my muscles were like boiling in the inside out. Like if you've never seen it before in your life, like I don't know what to tell you, but it was insane. Like I'm just sitting in the tub and my leg can't move and stuff like that, and my whole thigh, I would say my thigh, like all the muscles were like bubbling and like moving around and stuff like that, because my body's having a bad reaction that I broke a bone. But at the time, before I went to the doctor, I didn't know I broke a bone, so I can't move at all. You know, I had to have complete assistance. I had to use crutches to move around everywhere, and whatchamacallit, I kept falling down again right before we went to the car, you know, because I lost my balance completely. And we finally went to the doctor, and the doctor took an x-ray all over me. And a few minutes go by, I'm sitting there in a wheelchair because I can't move. And he comes into the room, and he was like, and he pulls the x-ray out, and my hip looks really messed up. Like I wish I had an X-ray up to today, but it was so long ago. But it like I fractured it. Is what the problem. Like here's the joint, and here's like the little bone in your leg that forms as a hip. I like pretty much crushed it, and I pretty much crushed that bone that supports it. So I pretty much broke the whole like plate and whole joint, and they were like, I need surgery. And then I was like, whoa, and I'm in my mind, I'm like, crap, I never had surgery before in my life. Am I gonna die and all that stuff? I mean, that was the first thing that came to my mind. And we finally went to the hospital. No, they sent me to the hospital, and went to the emergency room, getting all these big ass needles in my body. I never experienced it before, and I'm in pain and all that stuff. And whatchamacallit, they finally gave me these painkillers and all that stuff that hospital gives you, and I finally started to feel better and all that stuff, even though I can't move my toes. Oh, I can move my toes, but I can't like lift up my leg. I can't use the bathroom. I can't sit on a toilet and take a shit. You know what I mean? Like, just imagine you so paralyzed that you can't even take a shit. You know what I mean? Like, I was like, it was just horrible. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't poop for like a good 5-6 days because my hip was broken. I can't move it, you know. If I move it, it'll like be completely shattered and ruined, and I'll be paralyzed for the rest of my life. And yeah, I'd use this pee bucket. I had to use this pee bucket, and I couldn't poop for like 5-6 days and almost a week. So pooping again after a week, almost, it felt completely like birth. It's like it hurt so much, but I'll explain that last. But a few days goes around, I'm stuck in the hospital. I mean, nobody barely visited me. Only a couple of homies visited me, but I'm sitting in the hospital, you know, and finally surgery comes around. I was in the hospital for at least 5 days. So I'm just using all these 5 days just to literally sitting there, you know, not doing nothing. I was watching TV, doing homework, still reading and all that stuff. Have a tutor come in and out the room and all that stuff, but I couldn't do anything fun. I couldn't play anything. What else happened? Yeah. Surgery comes around, and they told me to not eat for 24 hours. So I'm like, crap, not 24 hours, 12 hours, nothing but water for 12 hours. So I'm like, crap. So if I'm hungry, I can't eat, you know. I can only drink water, and it sucked. It sucked badly. It sucked. You know, I mean, I had to wait all the way until like after I even woke up from surgery to eat, you know. And the day comes around. How the surgery happened is they put you in they separate you in another bed, and obviously they put you out of your normal bed into another bed where they can move you around into a surgery room. And we get to the surgery room. They put a hat on me, like one of those mask hats, and they didn't put a mask on me. They had a mask on, and They put anesthesia. They put anesthesia like on my arm, not on my arm, but they put it on my hand. Like, do I have it? Y'all can't see it, but they put it one right here, and over here, and another one over here, and they put on this big like mask on me. It was laughing gas, obviously, but it was time for me to go to bed. It was time for me to go to sleep again, you know, like right after just waking up 30 minutes before the surgery. And I'm thinking, all right, they're not going to put me to sleep. I'm wide awake, you know. Obviously, it put me to bed. But how it felt and how it happened, like they put the mask on me. They're like, count to 10. Well, they didn't tell me to do any of that. I wanted to count to 10 because I'm like, all right, no, I'm not going to sleep. You know, I'm wide awake. And how, like, my visuals very changed. Like, this was my first intoxication, obviously, because I'm 12 years old. This is my first intoxication type of feeling, you know? Like, it felt really insane. Like, it felt like I couldn't feel anything but my eyesight, if it made sense. Like, I couldn't feel my head, I couldn't feel my body, I couldn't feel my arms or nothing. And everything felt like I was floating like a balloon. Like, I would probably feel that feeling again if I could, to be honest. But it felt like I was floating and like not like a balloon, but like felt like I was in space. Like, I don't know. It was nowhere close to like any other highs I've ever experienced in my life. But like it felt like I was in space, and to the point where I'm like I'm so dazed. Like, everything felt fuzzy eventually, and then I closed my eyes. When I closed my eyes and I opened it, they were like, oh, we're done. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, how we're done? I closed my eyes for a second. They're like, nah, it was been 7 hours, bro. I'm like, shit. I only closed my eyes for like 1 minute. Like, I closed my eyes, like, thinking, all right, I'm gonna playfully close my eyes on purpose. I knocked so hard to the point where I didn't even notice, like, I knocked, you know, like, and I woke up and feeling like I feel more in pain than before the surgery. I'm like, oh, damn, I'm in pain. I'm getting this huge hangover of the laughing gas and all that stuff. And I mean, it was my first hangover I ever experienced, ironically. And actually, no, I completely forgot to mention. Before the surgery, they draw what they're gonna draw on you, like how they're gonna cut you open and all that stuff with a pen. And I woke up, and I once they finally pulled me out of my bed to the bathroom to pull the not the staples out, to fix the staples. Like, I had staples on my hip. Like, hold on, let me show you guys. Let me not show my butt crack on camera, but see? This long... And this part right here, see the staples? Yeah, so what they put in me exactly was plates, pins, screws. I'm stuck with it for the rest of my life, obviously, well, after the surgery, I finally got to go home a day later because I had to stay in the hospital a day more for observation, make sure everything is good, everything is okay, and got the prescription ready for me when I'm in pain when I get home. And whatchamacallit, the most painful part is when they put a tube in your penis, and for me to drain out my pee while I'm asleep during surgery. And the most painful part was they had to pull it out, bro. Like, oh my god, it was painful. It is painful as fuck. Like, it goes through 3 different holes, bro. Like, one hole is the tip, and then another hole where the where the bladder is, and then another hole inside of your organ. So it was a long, like, tube. I wish the tube was a little bit smaller than that, bro. It hurt a lot, and they told me to pull it out myself because I'm like, no, I don't want to let other people do it because other people they just pull it out, they just yank it out. I just pulled it very lightly. I'm like, like it hurt a lot, bro. It hurt a lot. That was probably one of the most painful experiences I ever had in my life. But after the surgery, right after I went home, right, and I don't recognize I barely recognize my house. Like, not that it changed, but like I haven't been there in a whole week. This is my first ever time not being home in a whole week, and I can't put any weight on my legs. So this quarantine literally reminded me of that time of literally just laying on a couch, not being able to do shit but watch TV. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't do anything. I mean, I could work out, my arms, if I want to, back then, which I did. I started working out because of my hip injury, that's when I started working out for real. And, I'm trying to think what else happened before physical therapy, because I don't want to miss any details in this story. So imagine being 12, not being able to walk or move for a good 2 months, not doing anything but watching TV, playing video games, maybe working out. I don't know, draw, color. That's the only thing I could do, And first physical therapist appointment, it hurt a lot because they had to pull the muscle like that and make sure my hamstrings were all that. Because imagine not moving around your muscles for a whole 2 months. If you're not moving your muscles around, it's gonna get weak. So that's when I learned back then, like, oh shit, if I don't work out, obviously my muscles are gonna get a lot weaker, and my hip and my hamstrings are gonna stay the same for the rest of his life, and I wouldn't be able to walk today. So after physical therapy, it hurt a lot. I couldn't walk or move at all or anything. And fast forward the stories. I don't want to make this too long. Fast forward all the way to by the time I came back to school. I remember the first day I was walking again. Like, I was limping so hard because my muscles were weak. My muscles are so weak. Like, it hasn't walked in 2 months, and I kept walking with a limp and all that stuff, and I had to come to school with crutches and stuff like that. I couldn't play sport. I still couldn't play sports in the gym for at least a good 2-3 months until I had doctor's approval and all that stuff, and physical therapist approval. And once I finally got back, it felt like Christmas. It felt like Christmas when I finally got back to playing sports in the gym. It felt like Christmas, playing basketball with my friends again, not always just sitting on the side of the bleachers feeling depressed as fuck. And yeah, it felt like Christmas again. And all my friends missed me a lot. Obviously, I was gone for a long time. And today, fast forward to today, I still feel it. I still feel the not pain, but I still feel the plates in my body. I can't do a split. I can't do acrobat stuff at all. I can't sit down in a certain position on a floor, but without feeling it completely. But I still exercise. I still go out for a run every morning. And what are people's excuses? The gym is closed. I mean, I don't know what to tell y'all. I don't know what's wrong with y'all excuses, man, but I'm sorry. I don't know. So I hope you guys took the time to watch this. Shout out to you. And I hope this was inspiring, because if I'm a guy with a plate on his hip, taking a jog every single day, working out every single day, and people's excuses is like, oh, the gym is closed. I don't know what to tell y'all. I'm sorry. I hope this was inspiring to your day. So have a good one.